What's going on, guys? Pegasus and the Wise Guys, and I'm here with
Dannahower.
the Waffle House Master.
Not just a master, a rock star.
A rock star. The rock star, my bad.
You're good.
What'd you play today, bro?
So I played a spicy Dark Magician deck that I just kind of thought of on the spot.
Okay, we'll let people roast you on the way. No, I'm joking.
Hey, I deserve a lot of roasting.
Until they get their hands by it, yeah.
Right. Whew. Hands would fly once they see the text that I threw in here.
Alrighty.
All right, we'll start with the main deck, starting with the monster lineup. Of course, gotta play.
Shout out to my man,
triple.
Matt. Oh, my bad.
You're good.
It's actually Waffle House in the background. Okay.
Yes, full on. I used to have Waffle House sleeves too, but they're a little worn out.
Okay.
They'll come back, I promise. Yep, we'll start off with the triple MVP, Dark Magician himself.
Yep.
Gotta go for that ace. Please don't give me too much crap for these gold secret rares.
Right.
Up next, we got triple expensive boy, the heart and soul of the deck. So, honestly, his effect to send a spell or trap from your hand or field to the graveyard actually comes up far more often than what people realize, especially as you get into the grind game, and I'll show you why once we get to the traps.
Right.
Moving on, we have triple copy of Rod, and it basically searches a spell or trap that lists Dark Magician, and it can add itself back to your hand by attributing a spellcaster if you activate cards during your opponent's turn, but let's be real, that effect almost never comes up. Then playing two copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. I actually considered playing three. I know that idea is very unpopular, but the idea of this variant is to get more and more monsters on board so you can generate more advantage. Here comes one of the spicier techs, playing a little Phantom Knight engine. Double boots because you really don't want to just open up the one because Bardiche won't really be as live as it ought to be.
Oh, you actually go in link plays.
Oh yes, I actually do have link plays and then some.
Okay.
The ending boards on the better hands, they're just too good. So, one of my favorite techs that I used to play in Insectors as well, Moon of the Dark Spirit. I've even considered playing this card at 2. You just banish a dark, and you summon it. And it's just another dark monster with decent stats. It's 1600, so it can attack some things. It's level 4. Neither of those are really relevant to this. All it is a monster that you can put on board and a dark. So that's all that's
Simple
really
enough.
good for. Of course, we have double Ash Blossom. I don't play 3 because for whatever godforsaken reason, whenever I play 3, I constantly draw into doubles of it, and it ends up becoming such a brick, and I hate it. So I have found over the years, I just consistently find myself playing only the 2. So here's the part that y'all are going to hate me for. A little Dogmatika engine.
What the hell? What have you done here?
So, the idea of this is, since we don't really rely too much on our extra deck other than at the beginning of our plays, say if we have just something small on board, whether it be Link Karibo or more often than not, well, usually Link Karibo or Link Spider, we can just special summon this. We can just go ahead, bring out the Maximus, and if we've gotten the Link Karibo in graveyard like we usually do, banish the Link Karibo, summon a Maximus, kind of make our little shenanigan plays from there. Then Fleur de Lis is just really good for interruptions, especially if you send the Ash Dragon to the graveyard. Just add this during the end phase, and then that's just an interruption during your opponent's turn. And also, don't hate me for this, but I only played double Need to Your Servant because I only have the 2. Haven't been able to find the third, but
What's up
it's
with
still...
these profiles there? Yeah. No, I feel you on the Deer Server. It's too expensive.
I mean, I just haven't really put forth the effort into getting this. Because I only got Invoked Dogmatika the other day. I was going to just keep the Invoke, get rid of Dogmatika for the money.
Right.
But it's like, you know what? Let's throw this together, see how it works.
Facts.
Because this is basically the first iteration of the idea, without much practice. Of course, triple Dark Magical Circle. It's a pot of duality. Add Dark Magician, Spell or Trap, or Dark Magician itself, and banish a card.
This is the deck stacker.
No, here's the real deck stacker.
He's like,
and then you
"No,
can
let me
banish it
tell
from
you."
the graveyard, and then just draw, in this build, only one card, because we don't play the Palladiums, we don't play Dark Magician Girl, those are just horrible bricks in this variant. If I were playing the variant that goes for Dragoon, I would be playing at least the one Dark Magician Girl. Then that's it for the spells. Now we have the traps, triple Eternal Soul. This just says, hey, we're just going to special summon Dark Magician during either player's turn, or alternatively, if you play it, we can add Dark Magic Attack or 1,000 Knives. I don't really want to play the Dark Magic Attack until I have an Ultra Rare or a DT, So I'm just kind of doing without my searchable Harvey's Feather Duster. Then, of course, we have double Phantom Knight's Fogblade. If I had IP Masquerena, I would be playing Shade Brigadine instead of this, because once I get the Rusty Bardiche on board, I can just go ahead and set Shade Brigadine and activate that. And by that point, I've searched what I needed, like boots, summon that, and I can go into IP. Then I can make any Dogmatika plays from there. Another MVP, a good out to Dragoons, among other things. Because guess what? Dragoon, Spellcaster. My deck, Spellcaster. Has anybody ever noticed what type the Dogmatikas are?
Spellcaster, yeah.
So it's really good. And it's just, bless you, it's just really good for certain matchups. Then double Imperm. I actually did not care as much for this, but at the same time, it's a matter of what cards would I put in the main deck to replace it. And then we have one copy of Shaddoll Schism, because we are playing the Dogmatikas and we are playing Darks that consistently get into the graveyard.
So you're actually cracking people in the head with a Winda and Dark Magician.
Not just Winda, Construct too. So moving on to the extra deck, we got our Link Monsters, we got Link Karibo, because we can just get rid of that easily, put it in the graveyard after getting rid of souls. Oh, I did forget to mention, whenever it comes to Fogblade, once it's a dead card, or rather, if you don't need it to stun your opponent anymore, just send it to the graveyard with souls, get that draw from it. And then you can banish it from your graveyard, bring back a Phantom Knight.
That's actually really good.
Link Spider. It can be used if you want to link off Dark Magician, if you just need to get it off board. That way you can get one engraved, bring back with Eternal Soul.
I feel an M-Duck coming.
Unfortunately not. M-Duck is really good. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, it's not as good. It's not what I need for this deck. Because I feel like Link Spider is a lot more mainstream idea of what you can go for. For example, earlier against that other generator player that we were just speaking to, whenever I played against him, he Nibiru'd me at just the right time in which I wanted him to, and I was able to continue my plays and make Dogmatika plays despite such, because I played the Link Spider, and it's just really good. Then we have Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn, of course the Rusty Bardiche, then one copy of Appaloosa, just because if you're able to go into it, you usually go into it with 3 materials, and it's just like, it's really good. And the other typical play that you go into once you have both your Dogmatika Maximas, your IP, Rusty Bardiche, and pretty much, let's see, and Ecclesia on board, is your opponent's turn. You can then go Appaloosa, because they only say you can't use your extra deck until the end of that turn. Never say anything about your opponent's turn.
True.
So you can use that to make some really wonky plays using the Nightmares with the Appaloosa. 1 Xyz, 1 Synchro Monster. You just use this with your Dogmatika stuff because, oh hey, my card got popped, we're going to do whatever with your card. And then this, because final burn damage, it never came up. But I still want to have it in there just in case. For Fusion Monsters, we have 1 copy of Apollon, because more often than not, you're going to send that to the graveyard so you can search the Schism. However, unfortunately to an extent today, I kept on drawing the Schism. So what I ended up sending instead was one of my 2 copies of Winda, which would add it back. At one point in time,
he had the ammo loaded.
yeah, at one point earlier, I actually discarded the Shaddoll Schism using, I believe it was Nightmare Phoenix, another game. I discarded it using Apprentice Illusion Magician, and then I just sent one of these to the graveyard, add it right back, and then reset it, because now I have a Shaddoll in graveyard and I have Darks. And then this came in clutch earlier against the Blue Eyes player, Mr. Buckingham himself, and it's just the Dogmatikas are light attribute. So this works very well. Then we have the 1 Ash Dragon, because it's Dogmatikas. Double copy of Ventus. And that rounds off the extra deck as it stands, because again, I do not own an IP Masquerena. Probably just gonna buy one later tonight after I get home. Side deck, 2 Droll, 2 Phantasme, 2 Nibiru, triple Dark Ruler no more, double copy of Secret Village of the Spellcasters, because again, all these things are spellcasters. Then we have the 1 copy of Navigation. I kept it on the side as a just in case. I'm just going to cut it at this point. Throw in a 3rd Nibiru or perhaps the 3rd Phantasme. Then, of course, to round it off, we have triple Evenly Matched. This is always going to be the powerhouse card. in opening up these two against the same generator player was almost so good had he not been able to go further into the grind game, because use Dark Ruler no more, he can't respond with par, then activate this, and he's left with tokens. That good old ruling. So overall, it's really nice whenever you're in board, going into your opponent's turn essentially ends with at least Bardiche, El Shaddai Winda, and the 2 Dogmatikas. And at that point, if you have the ability to make your Dark Magician plays, then just imagine having to go up against basically this. This is essentially what I like to end on, with Dark Magician in hand or in grave.
Because that's another interrupt too.
Precisely. Wow. And it's just really good to have. And it's like, this deck has so much interruption potential, but it struggles against decks like Tri Brigade, as I figured out tonight, because for what it's worth, I've never played against that deck, don't know what it does until now.
Right.
So against combo decks like that, it's not as good. That's where side deck has to be adjusted.
Right.
So that's pretty much the crux of the deck.
I appreciate it, bro.
No problem. Appreciate your time as well. Yeah, thanks for watching.